you want to learn more about whether there is any point in eating breakfast or whether eating late at night is bad for you, this video should bring some clarity. Does eating late at night cause weight gain? Observational studies have suggested that when you eat may influence weight gain, and this is independent of total energy intake. So people who eat more in the evening will have a higher weight than those who balance out the same amount of food throughout the day. This has led to people thinking that skipping breakfast will slow their metabolism and lead to weight gain. However, we need to remember that observational studies can only show associations. So based on the results from these studies on the timing of eating and weight, we can say that people who consume most of their food in the evening are also the people who have higher weight. This does not necessarily mean that eating at night causes weight gain. Does eating breakfast help with weight loss? More specific and convincing evidence on this subject is brought by randomized controlled trials where, for example, researchers randomly split study participants into two groups and get one group to have breakfast and the other to skip it. In the Bath Breakfast Project study, for example, the people who had breakfast had more balanced blood sugar levels in the morning, which makes complete sense because breakfast prevented their blood sugars from dropping. Also, the group that had breakfast ended up being more active in the morning, which also makes sense because those people most likely felt like they had more energy to do things. Contrary to popular belief, this study did not find that having breakfast would speed up your metabolism or that you necessarily eat less for lunch or dinner than if you've skipped breakfast. This study also did not find that having or skipping breakfast would have any effect on your weight. Does it matter when you eat most of your food? Other trials looked at how eating at different times was affecting metabolism. The overall conclusion is that our bodies don't metabolize food in the evening as well as during the day. Most studies classed after PM as late eating. When you eat late at night, both glucose and insulin levels are higher than they would be if you ate the same food earlier in the day. The key implication is that if your glucose and insulin levels are raised often, you may be at risk of developing conditions such as diabetes and heart disease. It may also mean that you have worse symptoms if you have PCOS, for example. There are some studies that look at the timing of eating and specific conditions. So let's use PCOS as an example. A study that was done in 2013 looked at the differences in hormones in women with lean PCOS who either ate their main meal for breakfast or for dinner. The total calories consumed throughout the day were not different between the groups, but the study found that the women who had a small breakfast and a fairly regular size lunch and dinner did a lot worse than the women who basically had the breakfast and a dinner meal swapped to make the breakfast a large meal and the dinner a lot smaller than what most people would normally eat. The women who had lots for breakfast and little for dinner had huge improvements in their insulin and testosterone levels, and both of these hormones are responsible for PCOS symptoms and long-term complications. They also had more frequent ovulation, which, as you know, is essential for conception, and it also helps balance hormones. Eating at night when the body is primed for sleep disturbs glucose metabolism and leads to raised insulin levels, which is not good for your health. This is true for everyone, but may be especially relevant if you have a condition where insulin resistance is a problem, like type 2 diabetes or PCOS. Eating breakfast will keep your blood energy levels more balanced and likely make you more active during the day, which to me sounds like a good enough reason to have it.